T. Coronii Borealis and Betelgeuse, celestial fireworks, and the elemental drama of the universe. A starry sky full of surprises. When you gaze up at the night sky, the sheer number of stars scattered across the firmament can feel overwhelming. For millennia, humans have looked to the heavens and found inspiration, wonder, and sometimes fear. The sky above, filled with thousands of stars twinkling in unison, seems serene and timeless. But the cosmos is far from static. In fact, it's constantly shifting, bursting, expanding, and exploding with energy. In the coming months, two extraordinary celestial events, one unfolding quietly in a distant star system and the other tied to one of the most famous stars in our sky, are set to remind us that the universe is a place of raw, elemental power and unimaginable scale. NASA and astronomers around the globe are preparing for a spectacle that could be visible with the naked eye: the sudden brightening of T. Coronii Borealis, a rare type of nova. And not far behind, another star, Betelgeuse, continues to baffle scientists with unpredictable brightness fluctuations, signs that it could be edging closer to its inevitable death in a colossal supernova. The Northern Crown will host a rare explosion. T. Coronii Borealis, known among astronomers as TCRB, is located in the constellation Corona Borealis, the Northern Crown, about 2,700 light-years from Earth. In astronomical terms, this is relatively close. And yet, under normal circumstances, this stellar system is completely invisible to the naked eye, boasting a dim magnitude of 10.8, far too faint for human eyes without telescopic help. That will soon change. Sometime before September 2024, T. Coronii Borealis is expected to erupt into brilliance, shining roughly 1,000 times brighter than usual. During this rare outburst, the system will briefly become one of the brightest stars in the constellation, even outshining Gemma, Corona Borealis' usual alpha star. This will make it visible without any telescope, a true naked-eye nova event. And unless you live to be well over 100, you will never see it again. The system only erupts roughly once every 80 years. What exactly is T. Coronii Borealis? Despite appearing to be a single star, T. Coronii Borealis is actually a binary star system, a type known as a symbiotic star. This pairing consists of a swollen red giant and a much smaller, but extremely dense, white dwarf. The two stars orbit one another every 228 days, and their proximity, roughly 75 million kilometers apart, about half the distance from Earth to the Sun, creates a dramatic and volatile relationship. The red giant, bloated and aging, continually sheds material into space. Some of this hydrogen-rich matter falls onto the white dwarf, creating an accretion disk of gas spiraling inward. Over time, as the white dwarf collects more material, pressure and heat build on its surface until a critical mass is reached. Then boom! The power of a nova. Unlike a supernova, which signifies the death of a star, a nova is a relatively gentler, repeatable event. In TCRB's case, the nova occurs due to thermonuclear ignition on the surface of the white dwarf. As hydrogen accumulates from the red giant, it reaches temperatures and pressures sufficient for fusion. This triggers an explosive release of energy, making the star suddenly flare into brightness for a few days to weeks before fading again. These events are called recurrent novae because they repeat over long intervals. Historical records show that TCRB erupted in 1866 and again in 1946, both times reaching a magnitude of about 2.0, bright enough to be seen by anyone who knew where to look. Now, after nearly 80 years of relative quiet, the next eruption is imminent. How to see it? To witness this spectacle, look toward the Corona Borealis constellation, a distinct semicircular arc of stars nestled between Hercules and Boötes. It's best observed in the northern hemisphere during spring and summer nights. Using a rotating star chart, planetary map, or online sky map, you can identify the approximate location. Interestingly, in bright urban areas, TCRB may actually stand out more because its sudden brilliance will distinguish it from the background stars washed out by city lights. Once the nova occurs, TCRB will shine brilliantly for about a week before fading back into obscurity. After that, it won't erupt again until the early 22nd century. A giant watching over us, the Betelgeuse mystery. While TCRB is poised for a relatively modest eruption, another star has captured the attention of scientists and the public alike for an entirely different reason. Betelgeuse, the massive red supergiant that marks the shoulder of Orion the Hunter, has been under close observation in recent years for mysterious fluctuations in brightness. Betelgeuse, located approximately 720 light-years from Earth, is one of the largest stars ever observed, with a diameter about 800 times greater than the Sun, large enough to envelop the entire orbit of Jupiter if placed at the center of our solar system. It's also one of the brightest stars in the night sky, visible with the naked eye and often appearing as a distinct reddish-orange point during winter months. The Great Dimming of 2020. In late 2019 and early 2020, astronomers noticed something astonishing. Betelgeuse was fading and fast. By February 2020, it had lost over 60% of its brightness, reaching its lowest luminosity in recorded history. Speculation exploded. Was this the precursor to a supernova, the star's final, spectacular end? Supernovae are among the most energetic events in the universe. If Betelgeuse were to explode, it would briefly rival the brightness of the moon and be visible in daylight for weeks. It would not pose any danger to Earth, but would offer a once-in-a-civilization opportunity to witness a nearby star's death. However, further research revealed that Betelgeuse hadn't reached the end of its life just yet. The dimming was caused by a colossal cloud of dust ejected by the star and then drifting in front of it from our vantage point. The star hadn't faded, it was just temporarily veiled. Still on the clock. But the event renewed interest in Betelgeuse's fate. As a red supergiant, Betelgeuse is in its final stages of stellar evolution, having exhausted the hydrogen and helium in its core. Though astronomers estimate it still has about 100,000 to 1.5 million years before it goes supernova, its unpredictable brightness and variable radius continue to puzzle researchers. For instance, Betelgeuse's size fluctuates by about 15%, expanding and contracting in giant pulses over roughly 270-day cycles. These changes, paired with irregular mass ejections, make it an unstable and fascinating object of study. Since 2023, Betelgeuse has once again brightened beyond its usual luminosity, sparking renewed questions about what the star is preparing to do next. While most astrophysicists believe a supernova is still far off, no one knows for certain. A supernova event could happen tomorrow, or not for another 100,000 years. When stars explode, the beauty and terror of cosmic power. In both the case of T. Coronii Borealis and Betelgeuse, we are witnessing the universe's immense power play out on a scale that dwarfs anything on Earth. These stellar transformations, some temporary, some final, are not just awe-inspiring light shows. They are cosmic engines, responsible for creating the elements that make up planets, water, life, and everything we know. When stars die, they forge carbon, oxygen, iron, and even gold, all the ingredients that form our bodies and our world. The Earth, and every atom within us, was once part of a star that lived, burned, and died long ago. So, as you look up at the starry sky over the next few months, remember this. What may look like a new star could in fact be the reignition of a distant binary system, blazing to life for a few brief days. And just beyond, another massive star pulses in the darkness, edging closer to an eventual explosion that will one day light up the cosmos and etch a permanent mark in human history. In the words of Carl Sagan, "We are made of star stuff." And soon, we'll have the rare opportunity to watch that stardust ignite.